So now let's try making your own Splunk install. So here on the Incident Response and Attack Matrix page, go down to the Windows section, Defending Windows, and I'm going to talk about 301 and 330, where we install Splunk locally and then detect a ransomware attack with it. So here, to install Splunk locally is a little bit annoying. That's why I did it before I started the video. I got this started here. You have to use Firefox, and then you go to Splunk.com. There's a free Splunk button in the top right that is no longer green, but it's at least still in the same location. Then you have to create a Splunk account, unless you have one, which is free, but a little bit irritating to create. And then it will try to get you to get Splunk Cloud, but ignore that. Just go to the bottom and click Splunk Enterprise. And you will get a chance to download Splunk Enterprise for Windows, which is what I just did. So once you've got Splunk Enterprise, then you can just run this installer the way you install anything else. Run. And agree to the agreement. And now you have to give it a username and password. I'm going to make mine admin and p@ssw0rd. Could be anything. That's just a password I often use. And then next. Whatever you put there for admin and password, you have to remember it, or else you'll have to go through a password recovery later to get it back. Just want to bring Zoom back to the front. Okay, now I approve the elevation to administrator to install Splunk, and there we go. And it shouldn't take too long. Just going to move my instructions over here so I can see them while I'm doing this. Okay, we're getting there. If it's going to take forever, I'll turn on my camera. I forgot to turn on my camera in Twitch. Not that it matters much, but anyway. Well, it's moving. Now, if I had a production department, which I do for one of my corporate clients, they'd actually cut out all this empty space. But none of these videos are that professional. I see it starting the Explorer process, making the screen flicker black there. That's a good sign. I know a very advanced tech support guy that told me whenever he's trying to troubleshoot problems on a Windows machine, he just installs Splunk first, so he can use Splunk to examine the logs on that one machine. And I know what he means. Splunk is so nice you get addicted to it. It's so much easier than the built-in Windows log viewer. Yeah, it makes me a little nervous, like it's waiting for something, but I don't think it is. All right. Yep, the CPU is at 100%, so it is working, doing something. It's going to make me wait. I'm going to look at the performance. Yeah, Marion? Oh, okay. That's fine. No problem. I already got the attendance. Okay. And this will be up there in video form if you want to look at it later. Good. A good boring video. Waiting a long time for this, but when people are watching the video, they can skip ahead in YouTube. Well, I know, yeah, how much time we shared at Progress Bars. I know the feeling. I don't remember it being this long, but last time I installed Splunk, it was a version or two ago. It might have gotten bigger. Oh, well. Ah, there. Finally doing something. Okay, fine. So now I can launch a browser with Splunk Enterprise and finish. Splunk just runs, you notice we've been using a web browser all day. It will just open it in a web browser, or so I imagine. Yes. Well, perhaps I needed to click a box that was vanishing there. If I click Start, there should be Splunk items here. Splunk Enterprise. Splunk Enterprise. If I click that, oh, this was what it was doing. So I'll use Firefox and say OK. What it does is it runs a little web server on your machine and it connects. to an address on localhost, port 8000 on the local host. All right, and here you are. And like I said, this is where you had to remember your name and password that you chose during installation. So it's admin, and this password, I'll sign in. And I guess I'll let the browser save that so it won't irritate me about that again. And now we're in Splunk running locally, just like what you've been using all day in my cloud machine. So I ignore this message, and here we are. Now the first thing we have to do is add data to Splunk, and that's right here. So we can add data, and it will guide us through the process of putting data inside here. All right, it offers me a tour. I'm going to skip that because I know what I'm doing, or so I imagine. And then first I'm going to monitor the existing machine, which is here, monitor. I can monitor the performance of my server. And you'll recognize this. This is exactly the same stuff you'll see in the Microsoft Performance Monitor stuff. So I can go to Local Performance Monitoring, which is here. And then here, collection name is CPU, which I guess I just have to type in. And now, my available objects are processor information. I'm just following the steps in this project. But this is the kind of stuff Microsoft tells you to monitor when you configure Microsoft Performance Monitoring. Then percent processor time. And total, and polling interval of 10 seconds. Not listening to me? 10. Nope, still not listening to me. All right, 10. And maybe tab. And then next. And review. Okay, per CPU, processor time. Submit. Okay, now I am monitoring local processor time, which is pretty boring, but I want to add some logs. Let's add more data. And more to the point, let's add the local event logs. So it is monitor, local event logs, the first item and the one you probably want. And now let's select this, application, security, and system. All right. And then next, some little defect in the graphics, but you can't win them all. Next, and next, review, and submit. All right. Now I'm ready. I can start searching local event logs with start searching. Okay, again, it offers me a tour, but I'm going to skip it. And now we're in a page that looks like what you've been looking at all day in that cloud. And we can search right here. It shows some event logs from my system here. Something about an application log, recording event codes, event type 4, and so on. So I can search for Splunk. I can find, because what I've done recently is I've installed Splunk, so I should see some events about that. If I search for Splunk, all right, I find 20 events about Splunk, and if I go to source type, you'll see there's application and system logs about Splunk, which is just normal stuff you'll see. So anyway, then there's a flag to find. So this is the end of the first project, getting Splunk running. And that was a lot of work for no great accomplishment. All I'm doing is looking at the same system logs you could see before. But now the next one is where it gets fun. So we need to put on Sysmon. The Windows event logs are there to debug broken systems. They are not really there for security, and they're not really that good for security. What's much better is to install Sysmon. So you download this thing. As in the project, I'm just going to close this. And I think I've already downloaded it. Let me check my downloads folder. Nope, good. Well, then I can go through all the steps here. So, open up Firefox. And yes, all right, there we go. Whatever you're trying to tell me, not now. Go away, I say not now. All right, so I go to this website. This is GitHub, Swift on Security. This Swift on Security is a Twitter handle of a famous Microsoft expert who is an expert in monitoring Windows systems, and he created this configuration file, which is very useful. So I'm going to save it with right-click on the raw button and save link as, and just put that in my downloads folder. So I save that, and now I want to get Sysmon itself, which is a Microsoft tool. So I go to the link for that, which is here, Microsoft Sysinternals, and here is Sysmon. So I download that and save that in the downloads folder. And I can now examine that folder. Okay, I need to unzip this, so I right-click, extract all, and I don't want it to go into a new folder. I want it to go right in the downloads folder, so I cut the Sysmon off the end of this and click extract. And now I get some tools right here in downloads. So now I have Sysmon, and I kind of expected to have Sysmon 64. Yeah, here's Sysmon 64 for 64-bit. And I have the configuration file right below it, Sysmon config. So Sysmon is a command line tool, like almost all of the sysinternals. So you run an administrator command prompt, and then you go into the folder where they are, which is users. I think I'm using IE user, yep, and then downloads. Okay, and do a directory. And there's Sysmon, and there's the Sysmon config. So you just run that executable, and then it's -i, and then the name of your config file, which is Sysmon config export.xml. This will launch Sysmon. What Sysmon does is it runs in the background. I agree to the agreement, and it monitors what's going on your system, and it creates useful events, which you have been using in that boss of the SOC. This is a fantastic tool, and what this configuration file does is it ignores a bunch of boring events, so you only see the good stuff. So now, once you've done that, here's a page that shows you some of the stuff from Sysmon. It only has about 20 events, one for process creation, one for a network connection, and a few other things. It's very useful. So you can view Sysmon directly in Event Viewer. You don't need to use Splunk, although Splunk makes it more fun. So you can go to Event Viewer, and Sysmon is now running on this system, and to see it, you have to go to Application and Services Log. Let's make this bigger. And I just want to see if it's fitting in my display. I think it is. All right, so Application and Services Log, Microsoft Windows Sysmon. But one of the things that makes Event Viewer annoying is it's slow, in addition to being pretty inconvenient to use. Microsoft Windows. And way down here somewhere, there is Sysmon. Sysmon. Expand it. There is one log called operational. And now, if you look at the raw Windows event log, they tend to be very baffling, esoteric events. But these Sysmon events are actually pretty nice. So there's some kind of process create rule here. And so those are the Sysmon events. Right now, nothing has happened except installing Sysmon and creating rules and installing some registries, because I haven't done anything on this machine. But now I can do some things. So I'm going to create an executable file. I will go to a command prompt window. Okay, and here I am on my desktop. So I'm going to echo 1 to say desktop /bad file, and I'm going to put the time here. It's 131, bad file 131.exe. I just keep track of the time so it'll be easier to spot. So I've created an executable on the desktop, and it's not a real executable, it just looks like an executable, but still that is something that you might want to know about. So if I go here, now I can go and action refresh. Okay, here's a file created rule, and there it is. cmd.exe is the image, and here's the file that was created. C users, IE users, desktop, bad file 131.exe. So it creates a simple event that a file has been created. And all right. And so you can now import the Sysmon data into Splunk. So let's do that. If I close this, I run Splunk again, which is just here. Splunk is in fact running all the time in the background. The only thing I'm opening is the web page that lets you manage Splunk. And it's probably going to make me log in again. I thought the browser would remember. I think it might if I start typing. Nope. Okay. Thought I saved it in the browser, but whatever. Maybe this is this is Internet Explorer. All right. Let's see if that works. Let's save it in this browser too. All right. I think any browser is fine. Okay, now settings, data inputs. I think it's doing something. Yep, it's doing something. It's spinning the... Okay. Then it is local event log collection. And again, it's spinning the little dots to reassure me. Okay, whoa, okay. And now, scroll down and click Microsoft Windows Sysmon. It is somewhere in this list. Microsoft Windows Application Server, DEKLNOPR. Microsoft is big and complicated, but in this mess, some down here, there. Sysmon operational, there it is. I can add that there, and now save. And all this is what was done to make that database you were searching earlier in Boss of the SOC, plus more. All right. Now that is in there, successfully updated, localhost. Now I can click Splunk here to get to the home page. And then search and reporting to get to the search page that you spent all day in so far. All right, and I should see a data summary somewhere. Here's the data summary. Okay. They've added some kind of advertising for something there that confuses me, but hopefully this data summary will populate eventually. Yep, it's filling up. Good. Hosts 1, source types 1, and I want to see the source types. There we are. And now I should see a source type of Sysmon operational, which I am not seeing. Perfmon, Win Event Log. Oh, there it is. Yep, Win Event Log, Microsoft Windows, Sysmon operational. It's already got 491 events from Sysmon. So it's working. All right. And now I can create, let's search for this to look at those Sysmon events. There we go. Here's some Sysmon events showing nothing very important right here. I want to find the event code here. Yep, there's the event code values. Here's Sysmon only has about 20 types of events, and here they are. And All right. And so I want to look at event code 11. There are 2 events with event code 11, and those are file creation events, which is not incredibly obvious, but I think you can find that somewhere in here. Yep, file created, rule file create. So 11 is the event for file create. Now, I want to make, this is how you would catch ransomware. The thing about ransomware is it makes a whole lot of files really fast. So here I've found Sysmon events for file creation. So all I have to add is this text here from my instructions. Okay, and this is stream stats, time window equals 1 minute, count event code. This will count how many events have happened per minute. So if I run that, it has 2 events, and it will have, in the interesting fields, I can click count event code, which is here. There we are. And you can see 1 event here, 2 events there. So there's something that happened once and something that happened twice. Nothing very exciting. All right. So now I can search for excessive event code, and I'm just going to copy this whole query from my instructions so I don't foul it up. A, delete, V. All right. So this is the thing that, let's see if I can make the font bigger. Maybe not in Windows. Oh, maybe I can. Oh, good. That's magnifier. Yeah, that's Microsoft. That's why I should have been in Firefox. Yep. Now it's freezing up my whole screen while it messes around. Escape, maybe. That's what I get for trying to make things bigger in Microsoft. Now I'm trapped. Okay, I managed to leave the virtual machine. That's something. Now let's see if I can somehow get back in. Okay, it's busy doing stupid things. Does escape make it stop? Control C probably doesn't work. Oh, does anybody out there know how to make magnifier stop? Because it's horrible. I think if I move my mouse there very slowly, I think I can reach the X. Oh, it was a mistake to try to magnify anything in Windows. Okay. All right. Anyway, there is a way to make the font bigger in Windows. If any of you are an expert to know how to do it, that would be nice. But I do not know. I don't suppose. There's a zoom. Ah. Let's see what that does. There we go. Okay. There might be a key press, but I can't find it. All right. So here's what you got. Sysmon event code 11. Count how many events happen in a minute. Call it new EXEs. And then search if new EXEs is greater than 10. So this will trigger if more than 10 executables are created in a minute. And it has 1 event like that. All right. And that was probably something to do with installing Sysmon. Let me just go down to my instructions here. There we are. All right. So I'm searching for, so now I'm going to create 12 EXEs. I made a zip file that has 12 executables in it. So when we unzip it, it will create 12 little executable files. I'll go back to Firefox, which I know how to use better. Assuming it opens. I think I told it to open. Okay. Now I can paste in this address, which downloads 12exes.zip, which I save. Then I go to where it went, and I right-click, extract all, extract. That creates a little folder that contains 12 EXEs. And now I should find that in Splunk. Here, if I run this query again, it should find another event that created a lot of EXEs really fast. And it did. It found 27 such events. And in the first event, show all 22 lines. So that thing did trigger. and that's the story. Information about the event occurs. Here it is, opening, creating something called Evil 10, and so it shows you. That's the point of it. It shows you EXEs being created, which is a suspicious thing, and now I can easily query to see if too many EXEs are being created too fast, and that's a clue for ransomware. Another thing that's worth looking at is the run key. So let's minimize this, and let's do another thing that malware likes to do, which is achieve persistence. So Firefox is strangely too big, so I'll close it down here. All right, and now I'll run regedit. And this is where you create a run key that will automatically launch programs at startup. So it is HKey local machine and software Microsoft Windows. Okay, current version. And there's a run key way down here somewhere. Okay, there is a run key. And in here you see there's a VMware process automatically launching, and I can make another one here with right-click new string value. And I can put something here like bad program, bad prog, enter. And that has created an object in here. I didn't even fill in a value, but it's already, this is what malware does to make itself automatically launch. And we should be able to find that in Splunk. So here's, I go here, I search Sysmon events that contain the word registry. So get rid of all that and just put in registry. And there are 33 such events. And so there they are. And if you go down here, here's command line. Okay. And let's look for event code. There's 1, 13, and 12. Here's event type. This is set value and delete value. So I would imagine the set value are the interesting ones. And those are showing the registry events that set the value. And here we are. Let's see, probably the most recent one is the one that's evil. Let's take a look. Registry set value, details. This is the run key. Yep, here it is, bad prog. There it is, putting something in the run key, bad program. So that's the point of Sysmon. Sysmon is what harvests these important events so you can scan for them without having to hunt through hundreds and thousands of useless, boring events. All right, so anyway, that's those two projects, and that's a good thing to do if you want to see what is really going on behind the scenes when you do that boss of the SOC.